It's already Wednesday. Welcome. Hello, I'm so glad you're all here. Thank you so much for joining me. If you are catching the replay over on YouTube, please know that you can use the chapters included below to jump ahead. If you've been considering joining us live and you haven't yet, maybe because this is when you drive home or you cook dinner, you can always sign in, pull up the YouTube app, plug your headphones in, and just have it playing in the background like a podcast. And then when we hit up our Q&A section at the end, you'll have an opportunity to connect, ask your questions, all of your burning nutrition questions. As a reminder, all of these weekly live broadcasts are saved in a playlist here on my YouTube, and most are also released as podcast episodes a full week later. Please don't forget, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, like this video, leave a comment on the main video post, and as always, please share my content with anyone else who you think might benefit from the things that I share and the things that I teach. My name is Beth. Welcome if you're new here. Can everybody hear me and see me? It sounds like we're good. I'm a certified functional nutritionist. I'm certified in functional nutritional therapy and nutritional psychology. I'm a 500-hour registered yoga instructor. I'm a mindfulness coach, excuse me, and I'm currently completing my CPT with the National Academy of Sports Medicine. I help all of my clients navigate mindset and behavior changes with compassion, grace, and ease. I'm excited to connect with all of you here in this weekly series that we do every week, my Balanced Wellness Wednesdays with Beth series, where we just have an opportunity to learn, to grow, to dig deeper into all things nutrition, fitness, habit change, mindset, and mindfulness. I forgot to hit record on the podcast. So welcome. I'm so glad you're all here. Today we're going to be chatting about 5 nutrition tips for thriving beyond 40. And before I get started, I do need to remember to offer you this disclaimer. The content shared The content shared here is for informational and educational purposes only. It is not intended to substitute medical advice. Please always contact your doctor or your nutritionist before making any significant changes to your diet or fitness regimen. The content shared here is based on our own research and our clinical experiences. But of course, individual needs may vary, and what works for one person may not work for another. If you are looking for one-on-one support or your very own nutritionist, I can be that for you. So please just reach out via the links provided below. So who's excited to talk about nutrition tips for beyond 40? Raise your hand if you're joining me live and you are over 40. If you are and you're finding yourself just feeling, I don't know, less and less like yourself and more confused on how to eat and to support your changing needs, what I've got for you tonight is hopefully going to help. So I'd love to know if you often find yourself wondering maybe why your energy levels may have seemed to hit a new low, like new lows that you haven't yet hit before, like welcome to your 40s and beyond. Maybe your once effective workouts now feel like an uphill battle and you're just struggling to get through them. Maybe it's stuff like night sweats or erratic hormones or short tempers or high anxiety. Maybe you just never feel motivated. That's one I hear quite frequently as people are struggling with motivation or struggling to stay consistent. And often maybe you just don't know where to start or what to do. And if that's you, you're not alone. And in tonight's weekly live session, we're going to get right down to business. We're going to get right into the nitty-gritty of some things you can do. No fluff, no nonsense. We're going to dive deep into 5 actionable nutrition tips to make a significant difference in how you feel and how you function beyond 40. So if you're tired of feeling stuck and tired of I think something I hear a lot is people just feel like they're sifting through endless information and just craving practical advice to just do something that works, then that's what I've got for you tonight. And I'm here to help you live your best life, no matter where you're starting from and no matter how old you are, because everybody deserves to live their best life. And from balancing your blood sugar to the importance of protein, from understanding carbs without fear to the power of fruits and veggies and transformational practices like mindful eating, I've got you covered. And hopefully by the end of tonight's session, you'll have a clear roadmap for some first steps you can take for thriving beyond 40 through nutrition. Hello, Carrie. Welcome. Hi. Hello, JBX, Jeremy. Hello, Shoshona. I'm so glad you're all here. If you're ready to break free from these struggles, especially if you are over 40, and to maybe get back some of that motivation and to take control of your well-being, please make sure you hit the subscribe button here on my channel if you haven't already. And we're going to dive into these 5 game-changing nutrition tips because your journey to a healthier, happier you, I think, should start right now. Before we dive in to the very first tip, I do want to share one important thing that I want you to take away from tonight. And just to pause for a moment to discuss an essential approach to thriving beyond 40, and that's the power of addition. I think when it comes to food and nutrition, it is so easy to get caught up in the mindset of subtraction, of cutting this out, of avoiding that, of labeling foods as bad. Here's the thing. Focusing on what we can't have. I don't know how many of you have ever experienced this. I know I have, and I hear this very frequently from clients. When we focus on what we can't have, this often leads to feelings of frustration, feelings of scarcity, feelings of inconsistency, and of course, feelings of restriction that often rebound in that other direction. So I want to just take a moment, I want to just take a moment to shift our perspective. And I want you to just start thinking about what can you add to your plate? What can you add to your life and to your well-being? And it's about nourishing your body with delicious, wholesome foods that support your health journey instead of what you're not allowed to eat or what is bad or what you need to take away. I think when we emphasize the addition of nutritious foods, the addition of practices like mindful eating and other habits and health habits and behaviors in alignment with the goals that we have, it's a much more positive and sustainable approach to our health. It's not about punitive choices or restriction. Instead, it's about embracing the joy of nourishing your body. So as we explore these tips, I just want you to remember the focus is on adding, not subtracting. And here's the other thing as we dive in that I want you to understand why I'm sharing these things tonight. With just a few small adjustments from maybe what you're currently doing with your health habits and your nutrition behaviors, you can transform your approach to nutrition and nourishment, especially as we age. And I think the goal is clear. It is to improve your well-being and your motivation as you navigate your 40s and beyond. And by making some of these changes, you're going to do things like enhancing your energy levels, which in turn improves motivation and performance, not just throughout the day, but also in your workouts too. We can also preserve. We've talked about this a lot on various broadcasts here. We've talked about this concept of preserving and perhaps even building this precious muscle mass. And it helps us to maintain our strength and our agility and to support an optimized metabolism, especially as we age. Eating in some of the ways we're going to talk about tonight helps to enhance your stress resiliency, which enables you to better navigate life's challenges. It also helps you to experience a deeper sense of pleasure and satisfaction with your meals. So important for you being able to actually stick with and sustain the habits that you're making and the changes that you're making with your nutrition. Enjoying more restful and rejuvenated sleep. We talked a lot last broadcast about the importance of sleep, but also the way that we eat and the way that we live impacts our sleep. So we have to choose to make choices with our nutrition that can enhance and allow us to have more restful sleep. It can help us to foster more harmonious and balanced hormones to bring balance to our body and our mind. And lastly, to make strides towards body composition goals, if that's something that you have as a part of your personal journey. So these are small but impactful shifts, and I think they can pave the way for just vibrant, thriving life beyond 40. So let's dive in, and let's start with our first nutrition tip, which is eating enough and eating consistently, aka stop skipping meals. Carrie shared, anytime I have followed something restrictive, then I feel what I refer to as disenchanted with food, and there's no joy to it. Thank you so much for sharing that. And I absolutely love how you described that and the term that you came up with, or the way that you refer to it or describe it, because I think that's exactly it. As soon as we restrict and tell ourselves, no, that's bad, I can't, I feel like I'm with you. I'm totally with you, Carrie, that it removes all joy and all pleasure. And that is, I always say, it's the number one missing ingredient for most people when they're making big nutrition changes. So nutrition tip number 1, eating enough and eating consistently. If you're listening to this and you're tired of the chaotic eating patterns, maybe it's not making enough time during the day to eat and to nourish yourself, and then that results in you overeating at night. Maybe you get so busy taking care of anyone and everyone else that suddenly you realize it's 3 p.m. and you've had nothing but coffee and a banana, whether it's job responsibilities or kiddos or someone you're taking care of in your household. And here's the thing, I get it, you're not alone. So eating enough and eating consistently are the most important things you can do, especially when you're aging and you're thriving or looking to thrive beyond 40. Undereating and erratic eating behaviors can and will wreak havoc on your energy levels and your hormones. And again, they're already struggling enough as we're over 40. We don't need to do anything to help them. It is a recipe for low motivation, for poor energy, a roller coaster of emotions, and often it's leaving us snippy, short-tempered, and it can even amplify feelings of anxiety. And again, this is no way to thrive when we're in our 40s and beyond, especially when our hormones are shifting in ways that are already causing so many of those side effects I just mentioned. We don't need to enhance those. So here's the good news. When you emphasize regular balanced meals and ensure you're eating enough to nourish yourself, this is the fastest way to put an end to the chaos. And whether for you that is smaller, more frequent meals or larger, less frequent meals, whatever aligns with your lifestyle, the key is, I think, for most folks, it's not going longer than 4 or 5 hours without nourishment. Again, I think this is particularly important when we're in our 40s and beyond. And most importantly, for women over 40, fasting is probably going to be doing you a whole lot more harm than good. And while I'm here and just paused on this, coffee is not a breakfast. So if you think you're having coffee and that's your breakfast, think again. You are not eating, you're not consuming nutrients. That is not nourishment. Inside of all of my programs, including my self-guided program, Empowered Nourishment, as well as Trust and Thrive Academy, I provide you with personalized guidance for you to discover how much you need to eat to nourish yourself and to find the mealtime frequency that works best for you. There's no BS. It's just practical solutions to help you feel your best and to find the mealtime frequency that aligns for you. And I also have a free ebook called Are You Eating Enough? That can also get you started. And so I'll make sure to include that in the show notes provided below. Nutrition tip number 2 for thriving beyond 40. And that is something you've heard me say many times, optimize your protein intake. In our quest to thrive beyond 40, we're now onto this most important nutrition tip, one you hear me say quite frequently. As we age, our bodies need more protein. In fact, not less. In fact, protein needs in your 40s and beyond are far higher than your protein needs in your 20s, which shocks most people. Protein isn't just for your muscles. It plays a vital role in balancing your blood sugar, supporting your hormones, maintaining a healthy body weight, keeping us to feel satisfied and satiated, helping us to have a healthier immune system and avoid injuries. Here's the kicker. Most people say, oh, when I look at the RDA, I'm doing it. The recommended dietary allowance, the RDA for protein, it's merely the bare minimum to avoid serious deficiencies and literally wasting away. And I am not here to help you just avoid deficiencies. I'm here to help you thrive. So as we get older, our body's ability to digest, absorb, and utilize and respond to protein declines. So that means we need to consume more protein throughout the day so that we're staying well nourished. So again, more frequent meals that align with your mealtime frequency needs. And especially for women, as we age, protein becomes more critical because muscle loss tends to occur greater over time due to changes in our hormones. If you want to learn more about this, check out my previous video about body and weight changes over 40. But eating adequate high quality protein is absolutely key to helping to maintain and possibly even build muscle mass as we get older. Again, protein offers a load of advantages. I'm going to just kind of keep it really brief here because we've talked about it at length. But again, it keeps you feeling fuller and more satisfied. So it helps to reduce mindless snacking and just supporting overall satisfaction throughout your day because it takes more energy to digest protein, and utilizing protein actually causes you to burn more calories. When you're processing protein as compared to carbs or fats, it can be particularly beneficial for supporting a healthy metabolism. Protein and the amino acids it contains are essential for producing critical components in our bodies, such as enzymes, hormones, neurotransmitters, and antibodies. Again, as a person over 40, your need for hormone support amplifies, and protein is a really impactful way to do that. How much protein should you eat? Again, I'm going to keep this really simple because this is not a broadcast about protein, especially if you are perimenopausal, menopausal, and postmenopausal, and you are wanting to stay active, healthy, and strong. A starting point point is 0.7 grams per pound of body weight a day as a starting point. So if you weigh 180 pounds, you'd be shooting for around 126 grams of protein per day. If you are so far off from that, start with 100 grams, start with 80 grams. Maybe it's just starting with a palm-sized portion of protein at every meal and 1 or 2 protein-forward snacks per day. Again, inside of all of my programs, both Empowered Nourishment and Trust and Thrive, you will discover extensive information on serving sizes and protein sources to make incorporating protein into your diet as straightforward as possible. And again, I'm not about just the minimums to avoid disease. I want to help you to optimize. So again, protein isn't just this nutrient, it's actually a powerful ally for you feeling your best as you navigate the unique challenges of aging beyond 40. Number 3, nutrition tip number 3, eating to support balanced blood sugar. So we're going to dive into this third tip. Here is the deal. Balanced blood sugar is not something just that folks trying to avoid diabetes need to think about. Balanced blood sugar is about optimizing your energy levels. So if you are especially struggling with imbalanced energy, poor energy, energy crashes, you've got to listen up. Blood sugar also helps support your hormone health, your mood stability, inflammation control, managing a healthy body weight for you, and just your overall well-being. So why is it so crucial, especially as we age? Again, fluctuating blood sugar levels can lead to energy crashes, to mood swings, to those insatiable sugar cravings that haunt so many folks. And it's just that I think for most of us, it's a roller coaster we'd probably rather avoid, right? So imbalanced blood sugar can wreak havoc on your hormones. That is a big thing I don't want you to forget. And that further complicates the journey of thriving beyond 40. So I'm just going to give you a few practical tips before we move on. Start your day with a balanced breakfast that includes protein and fiber. This sets a solid foundation for the rest of your day. Always, when you can, opt for complex carbohydrates over simple carbohydrates. This is roots and fruits, maybe it's whole grains and legumes. These things help to release steady energy and release your energy steadily throughout the day to avoid blood sugar spikes and crashes. Correct espresso does not count as breakfast either. I love me some coffee. Have it with your breakfast, but it is not a breakfast. It is not breakfast. It contains no protein, no calories, no nutrients. It is very delicious, but it is not doing you any favors, especially when it comes to blood sugar. Let's also not forget about the importance of healthy fats because those help to slow down the absorption of sugar, keeping you full and satisfied. And again, we dive so much deeper into blood sugar in all of my programs where I provide you with a personalized approach and personalized guidance on how to eat and how to optimize your nutrition to balance your blood sugar effectively, plus some non-food related tips and strategies. So next up, I have what I'm calling nutrition tip 3B. And I want you to understand that the reason that I'm adding this kind of as 3B is because it really plays a role in blood sugar balance. So nutrition tip 3B is carbohydrate awareness. This is a really common scenario I see in the work that I do. I see these wild swings in both directions when it comes to carbs. On one end, some folks load up on excessive carbs, often the simple refined carbs found in processed foods, without considering the need for protein or fiber to blunt the impact on their blood sugar. This also might be individuals who are highly sedentary. So they're also not utilizing that blood sugar by engaging in any sort of physical activity. So the result for those folks is a roller coaster of blood sugar levels that can wreak havoc on their energy and their well-being. On the flip side, I also see a lot of people struggling with unnecessary fear of carbs. I tend to witness this among very active individuals who are working out really hard, but not adequately fueling their workouts with their carbohydrates. So it's a misconception that this can lead to feeling drained and not getting the most out of your exercise. You need adequate carbohydrates, especially if you're pushing your body to the max and to the limits. So again, I see kind of both ends of the spectrum. Carbs are not the carbs are not the enemy. They are a crucial source of energy, especially for your muscles. Carbs fuel your workouts and they help you to perform at your best and recover effectively. Here is the thing and why I'm talking about carbohydrate awareness. The kicker is there is not a one-size-fits-all game. This is not a one-size-fits-all game, especially as we age. Individualized carb intake is key. So it's finding the right balance that suits your lifestyle and your activity levels. Again, this is a topic I cover in depth in both of my programs inside of Trust and Thrive Academy, Thriving Beyond 40, as well as Empowered Nourishment, my self-guided program. I provide personalized guidance on finding your carbohydrate amount, this carbohydrate awareness, and helping you to make informed choices that align with your unique needs and goals. Jeremy asked, Beth, what is your take on oatmeal? I think oatmeal, if you enjoy it, can be a really wonderful option at breakfast. It offers fiber, it offers volume, which offers kind of that satiation factor. On its own, it doesn't provide you with enough protein and healthy fats. It is giving you a lot of carbs and fiber. And again, these are great sources of carbohydrates. So I always recommend that my clients either pair it with a significant amount of protein or even add protein right in. So some folks that I work with will add a protein powder to their oats. Some folks will add egg whites and kind of like mix them into the hot oatmeal and it kind of mixes in really nicely. Most folks find that maybe one or both of those, well, not both of those, I think that would be overkill. One of those and a side of protein like some chicken sausage or some egg or scrambled egg whites or a protein drink is a really nice way to find that balance and to make a kind of more well-rounded meal. But I think if you like oatmeal and it sits well with you and it kind of sustains you, I think it's great. I love that it's a nice volume food. Cream of wheat. Yeah, same thing. Cream of wheat, cream of rice. I don't know what else they cream. Polenta even. Great sources of more complex carbs versus, some, refined carbs you might find in cereals. I think that if you enjoy those, the most important thing is to make sure we're getting adequate fiber and protein at the least to kind of blunt the impacts on your blood sugar. But yeah, I love those options. In fact, I've been looking recently for cream of rice cereal. I remember eating that as a kid and I don't know, I always kind of liked it. I love hot, like especially as the weather changes, I love like warm. I unfortunately personally can't tolerate oatmeal. It does not sit well with me and it bums me out because sometimes I just want a nice warm cozy bowl of oatmeal. So I'm always coming up with options, but I love polenta. I love a nice warm bowl of like polenta. Krispy Kreme, JK. Not quite in the same category. So nutrition tip number 4 for thriving beyond 40 is to eat plenty of fruits and veggies. Obviously, I think all of us have heard this advice countless times, and there's so many great reasons for it. Fruits and vegetables are obviously nutritional powerhouses. Everybody's like up in, superfood this and superfood that. You know what's the original superfoods? Fruits and veggies. They are packed with essential nutrients like vitamins and minerals, fiber, and a range of health boosting compounds like phytochemicals, etc. So why are they particularly important as we age? Well, they play a crucial role in maintaining your overall health because of all of those micronutrients I mentioned. They also play a role in the well-being of your hormones in your liver. For those navigating perimenopause and menopause especially, they play a crucial role in maintaining your overall health, again, as I mentioned, with the health of your hormones in your liver. So first, I want to talk about volume. And I kind of started to touch on this with the oatmeal thing. With foods like fruits and veggies, they're naturally low in calories, but high in volume. The beauty of this is that helps you to feel more full and satisfied without overloading you with excessive calories. And this can also help with mindless in-between meal snacking. Again, snacking isn't inherently bad, but if you snack mindlessly because you're never quite satisfied or you're constantly craving things, it's probably not doing you any favors. Choosing things, servings of fruits and veggies at your meal, it can help you to snack and eat more intentionally versus mindlessly, which again, that mindless eating is what creates chaotic and overeating habits. Second, the fiber in these foods. This is why we gotta love the fruits and veggies. They support regular digestion. They support a healthy gut microbiome. And all of this can help alleviate uncomfortable bloating feelings that can happen, especially as we're aging. And there's more. Fruits and veggies are like the very best friends to your hormones and to your liver health. Many of these foods provide essential nutrients your body needs to keep your hormones in balance and to balance your liver in its detoxification processes. All of this is crucial. Your detox pathways in your liver, crucial for helping your body to shuttle out excess hormones, something that can impact things like estrogen dominance symptoms. Again, things that we do have to think about, especially as we age. Now, if you are not a fruit and veggie lover already, simple goal, just aim to include at least a serving of each at 2 of your meals. If you're really not doing anything, maybe start with 1. Hopefully you're already doing it at least 1 and maybe shoot for 2. It can be just like a nice fist-sized serving of fruits and veggies at least 2 of your meals, and then gradually increase your portion size until you're comfortable enjoying a few fist-sized portions at every meal. Here's the secret sauce with fruits and veggies. You have got to find foods and prep methods that you genuinely love to eat. And it might mean experimenting with different veggies and cooking methods until you discover what is truly delicious to you. And I am a big fan. If you need to add a little cheese to get the broccoli down at first, a little ranch, do what you got to do, but get the veggies in. I love frozen veggies because they're easily put in the air fryer and we can cook them up super quick. Again, you can learn more about all of this inside of my programs where I help you cultivate a love for these nutrient-packed foods and to make them a delightful part of your daily life. And as part of this special edition launch of Trust and Thrive Academy, the Thriving Beyond 40, we're also going to be talking more about targeting specific nutrients from foods like fruits and veggies to support your hormonal needs, things like how to support low progesterone, low estrogen, and foods that will help you to do that. Jeremy said, did not know the veggies and fruits help my liver. Yeah, many of them contain really important nutrients to support your liver health. So it's a very important thing to include for everyone, but especially as we age. And last but not least, tip number 5, to prioritize mindful eating to help you to thrive beyond 40. So as we wrap this up, this journey of thriving beyond 40, I want to explore this 5th and final tip, mindful eating. And this is where compassion and kindness toward your relationship with food can come into play. Mindful eating is about savoring every bite. It is eating slowly. It is paying attention to the sensations and the flavors as you chew your food. For many folks that I work with, but especially women and especially parents, this can be a massive adjustment. Most of these folks are used to taking care of everyone else's food needs at meals, but if you can shift your focus in this concept of thriving beyond 40, this is a really excellent time to start thinking about your own needs and to start thinking about how you can take care of yourself. So eating in a calm environment, slowing down, and truly enjoying your meals can make a massive world of difference. And this is about nurturing your body and your soul through food. So I'm going to give you 3 simple tips to get you started. Number 1, before you begin your meal, take just a few deep belly breaths to center yourself and to bring your focus to the present moment. This brings your parasympathetic nervous system in, it engages your parasympathetic nervous system and helps you to digest your food and just calms your body. Number 2, chew your food until it reaches an applesauce-like consistency. I know this sounds kind of gross and weird to talk about, but this not only aids in digestion, but it also encourages you to savor the flavors and the textures of your meal. And number 3, a simple tip for mindful eating is to set your fork down in between bites. This simple act can help you to eat more slowly and more mindfully, allowing you to better recognize your hunger and fullness cues, something that can be a struggle for everyone. But again, as we talked about last week, I think this can be especially challenging for those of us over 40 when our hormones are affecting our hunger and fullness cues. So I encourage you to try one or more of those tips and maybe notice how it changes your relationship with eating and with food, and to maybe discover of those what works best for you and your journey toward thriving beyond 40. Remember, in all of my programs, we dive even deeper into mindful eating, providing you with practical strategies to cultivate a positive and a nourishing relationship with food every time that you eat. So I want to leave you with this. This journey of thriving beyond 40, as you can hear from some of what I shared tonight, what I think are the 5 most important nutrition tips for thriving beyond 40, it starts with small, actionable steps. I shared 5 key nutrition tips with you today, and this is really just the beginning. So if you are ready to dive deeper, to get personalized guidance and to be a part of a supportive community, I do encourage you to join us in the Trust and Thrive Academy, Thriving Beyond 40 Special Edition. We kick things off Tuesday, September 26th. This is our group coaching program, and enrollment is open now. So it's your chance to thrive with like-minded individuals and receive expert guidance, coaching, and accountability that you need. And this special edition launch has tons of incredible bonuses. It includes all of the things that I include in all of my Trust and Thrive Academy launches, but especially this time around, some of the bonuses you're getting is personalized meal planning app. You're getting 8 weeks of personalized meal planning with a handy app, grocery lists, and more at no additional cost. I should pause and say, if you have any questions while I'm kind of running through this, because there's such a delay here on YouTube, I'd love to open it up on any of the 5 tips that we went over and answer any questions that you have. Maybe you have specific things that you're struggling with in your nutrition. If you are over 40 and you're looking for ideas or specific questions, please use the chat box. I would love to support you in that. As well, in the Trust and Thrive Academy, Thriving Beyond 40 bonuses, you're getting access to my Compassionate Fat Loss mini course, which is a self-guided mini course with a mindful approach to weight management. No additional fees there. You're getting access to the Quiet the Noise Restart if you choose to engage in this. It's an opportunity to engage in a reset nutrition program. You're getting access to 8 weeks of functional strength training programming. And I'm helping you to choose between 3 different training bundles tailored to your needs, and all of this at a deeply discounted rate. You also have the option to add on hormone testing so you can customize your journey using things like Dutch testing, HTMA mineral testing, and so on. So if you think this is a good fit for you, you can use the link in the caption below. Again, enrollment open today. We start Tuesday, September 26th. If you have any questions at all about if this program is right for you, if you are curious about what's included or how the program is operated and how it functions, I would love to help you. Please reach out to me. And otherwise, if you prefer a self-guided approach, please check out Empowered Nourishment. This is my go-to resource for a comprehensive self-paced nutrition foundations program. This is my most popular and accessible and affordable program. Most important thing for all of you is to just remember it's never too late to take control of your health and well-being. And all of the programs that I offered are here to provide you with the tools, the knowledge, and the support that you need to thrive beyond 40. As always, I do have limited spots available for one-on-one support. You'll find the application below in the caption. So don't wait. It's time to take whatever the first step is for you. Click on the links in the description below to enroll, to learn more. I'd love to answer any questions that you all have about nutrition tips for thriving beyond 40. I'm so excited that you're all here. I wanted to keep this one fast-paced and to just provide you with simple, small steps that you can take immediately, some things that you can implement in your day-to-day life that don't require huge shifts. But because we're talking about big foundational changes, kind of looking at things from the root up, these are things you can do immediately that are going to change the game for helping you to thrive as you move through your 40s, your 50s, and beyond. So I'd love to answer any questions you have before we wrap up. I, of course, as always, appreciate all of you who join me here on the live, those of you who submit ideas for content, and any of you that engage and just support me in all of the work that we're doing here. I really appreciate it, and I'm always happy to show up here and see your faces. Any questions before we wrap up? How's everybody feeling after a handful of Wednesdays of talking about where to start and simple tips for getting started? And now we've really shifted into this Thriving Beyond 40 content. I'd love to hear if anyone's made any changes recently or anything that you've implemented as a result of our conversations. It's always fun for me to hear that you all are showing up to the gym or hopping on the bike or making changes with your nutrition. And if not, I'm going to take the extra time I've got on this Wednesday evening and sit my hiney down with my puppy dog and make a nice early dinner. All right, y'all. I always love the delay here. I just want to always give space. All right. Well, if we don't have any questions tonight, just crushed a burrito. Did you get some protein in there at least, Federalist? I hope you got some protein in your burrito. Maybe some beans. You got some healthy fiber in there. I love that. Love it. New electrical work. I don't know what that means, but sounds good. Maybe you did new electrical work at the house. You're welcome. Appreciate the midweek focus. I love that. Elliptical. That makes a whole lot more sense. I was reading it going, what is electrical work? Are you an electrician and you're like really proud of yourself for like new wiring in your house? Elliptical work makes a whole lot more sense. How's that going? I hope it's feeling good for you. I kind of miss going to a Globo gym now that I work out from home. My beef with some guacamole on the side. I love that. You're welcome, Carrie. Thank you so much for being here. Beef with guacamole. All right. So we're getting some healthy fats. We're getting some protein. I'm sure it's going to keep you nice and full and volume. That is a volume food and it's a calorie dense food, but you're hitting all the marks. But I'm happy to hear you got some beef in there. That's okay, Shoshana. Now I know what you're talking about. Good. I'm so glad it's helpful. And I'm always happy to hear you all are doing other things and listening in the background. And again, I'm always happy to hear from you. If you have ideas of things you'd like us to cover in some of our upcoming Wednesday Balanced Wellness Wednesdays with Beth broadcasts, please either share here in the chat or again, I always appreciate and love the comments on the main video on my YouTube. It helps me very much get in front of new eyes over there on the YouTube, and I'm happy to hear what you might need support on. Christy shared, I can't stop snacking. I need help. I'm premenopausal. Are you finding, thank you so much for sharing that. Are you finding that you are eating balanced meals and you're still snacking in between meals? Or are you struggling with getting in balanced meals and it's a lot of grazing all day? Usually, because listen, snacking is not inherently bad or wrong. Many people, as I've mentioned many times, I'd love to hear a little bit more, Christy, about if you're eating kind of 3 well-rounded balanced meals with protein, fat, and carbs, complex carbs. I always tell folks, first of all, snacking isn't inherently bad. Some folks very much thrive with several small, like I have many clients who thrive with five kind of mini meals throughout the day. So it's like either mini meals or like meal, snack, meal, snack, meal, even a snack after that. Some folks do really well with large, less frequent meals, as we've talked about. So snacking is not inherently wrong or bad, especially if you're prioritizing balance. I would say if you're consistently finding that you're unable to stop snacking or you never quite feel satisfied, some of the things we talked about tonight where it's making sure to assess your plate and to really look at what is on your plate. So are you having at least a palm-sized serving of protein? Is there fiber on your plate? A good serving of veggies, if not a fistful, 2 fistfuls, and what kinds of carbs and fats are included in your meals? That's kind of where I start. So if you're eating balance at your meals, then the next place I might look. So Christy shared balanced meals all day. At night, I feel the need to have something sweet after dinner. Okay, so I'm going to touch on that in just a moment. The other thing I will say is if you feel that you're having balance at your meals and you still don't feel satisfied or you're constantly hungry, then I would be looking at the amount of food you're consuming at those meals. See, I love getting into this stuff. Thank you, Christy, for sharing all of these details. So Christy also shared, I fast from 10 p.m. to 2 p.m. So fasting works for some folks, but for others, it can lead to what I call chaotic eating, which means if you're not eating from 10 till 2, you're waking up in the morning. Cortisol levels are high in the morning to wake you up, help you feel alert. You're skipping out on food. For some folks, especially women over 40, avoiding food when cortisol levels are already high, potentially adding in caffeine and just kind of like forcing yourself to kind of start taking on the day, you're tapping into stored energy. You might even be experiencing low blood sugar, which is extremely stressful to your body. Now come 2 o'clock, you should be between 2 and 10 eating the amount of food you would have eaten from breakfast, lunch, and dinner. So if you are, I'm just going to use some really sort of abstract numbers, and I'll just use basic numbers to keep it simple. If you should be eating approximately 2,000, or we'll say 2,100 calories a day. Let's say you should be eating around 2,021 calories, 2,100 calories a day as an adult woman. If you should be having breakfast, lunch, and dinner, that would mean you should be having approximately, I will say on the low end, 600, on the high end, 700 plus calories per meal. If you're skipping out on breakfast, that means you now need to be having that much more. So maybe more like 1,000 calories at lunch and 1,000 calories at dinner. If you are not doing that, you are drastically under eating. You're probably struggling with low energy availability, potentially erratic blood sugar. You wanting to snack all day is just a response to your body needing more energy and more fuel, and potentially dealing with low blood sugar. So I'm not going to tell you not to fast, but I generally do not recommend fasting, especially for individuals who feel like they're never satisfied. They're often sort of, when they're in those sort of feeding windows, never feeling satisfied, often feeling snacky. What a lot of times happens is you're not having a large enough lunch. You're probably trying to keep it minimal. And then between lunch and dinner, or dinner and beyond, your body is simply asking for the fuel you haven't given it. And instead of having more protein and more veggies because you're skipping out an entire meal, of course you want carbs, and of course you want salty snacks and sugar, because those are happy foods. Those are dopamine filling foods. They make us feel good, but they don't necessarily help your body to achieve what it needs. And what I see a lot of times, and why I call it chaotic eating, under eating all day often leads to overeating at night, which, if you were to be creating a calorie deficit, or if that's the goal that you're trying to achieve with fasting, most people are well beyond filling that up by overeating in the evening. So if fasting for you is resulting in you never feeling satisfied or feeling out of control around food, then maybe try not fasting and see how that feels. If it's working for you and you're simply snacking and having balanced snacks, then I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Assuming you feel good, energy feels balanced, your moods are good, blood sugar is balanced, and you're feeling great, then snack away between 2 and 10 if that's what works for you. Having something sweet after dinner is not a bad thing. I love me a sweet after dinner. If you have a sweet and the sweet doesn't satiate you or satisfy you, and then you have to have a bowl of chips and another bowl of popcorn, and you're still not satisfied, then again, what you're doing during the day isn't working for you. Chrissy shared, I do a smoothie at 2 with fruits and veggies, and then I do a salad and protein for dinner. Then I'm going to just go on a limb, Christy. I don't know you, but what you're telling me, you're probably not eating enough. You would have to have a ginormous shake at 2 o'clock with ample amounts of protein. I hear that you're getting fruits and veggies, and I absolutely love that. But if you're only having that at 2 and then a salad and protein for dinner, I can guarantee what you're struggling with is low energy availability. You're under consuming, and it's resulting in an overconsumption later, or just feeling out of control. And again, what we do is we moralize that and say, I have no willpower, I have no discipline, I can't stop eating. And instead, if we look at it like a physiological need from your body asking you, hey, Christy, you're not giving me enough. So of course it's going to ask for, like, sweet foods is your body saying, Christy, give me carbs you didn't give me enough today. If you expect me to do X, Y, and Z, or to live life in these ways, you need to give me more. And if you're not doing that, it will find a way to make you do it. So I appreciate, Christy said you're so right. I appreciate you sharing that. And I also appreciate you sharing the details, because that really helps me to get a better understanding of why. Because again, I think a lot of times we just inherently or intuitively sort of take it on as a moral failing as a human. And a lot of times it's just a physiological response to inputs, like not giving our body enough to meet the demands of which you're placing on your body. So I really appreciate you asking that question, Christy. Thank you so much. And I have a feeling, whether folks are listening to the replay here or on the podcast, I have a feeling that you are not alone. I hear this. I cannot tell you how frequently I hear this. I would say the number one thing I see, and this is why I talked at the beginning about eating enough and finding a frequency that works for you. The number one thing I see with clients who come to me at the start and fill out a food and mood journal is that they're under consuming for the majority of their day, and either they're continuing that and they're just dealing with extreme low energy availability or undernourishment, or B, it's kind of rebounding into this chaotic eating, overeating later, which then they internalize as a moral failing, and it just it never really works. And so I think I'm a big fan of breakfast for almost everybody. I think if someone's fasting till 2 and feels magnificent, then I love that. But I rarely hear that, unfortunately, especially for individuals beyond 40. Jeremy said, Christy, really good question. Beth, great points. Thank you both. Yeah, thank you. I love this. I almost signed off because there's this delay on here. I don't always get the question. So I really appreciate that question, Christy. Thank you. Any other questions? Anything else I can help any of you with tonight before we wrap up? I would love to support you in that. Carrie said, I hear you, Christy. I totally hit the Cheetos today. Cheetos are delicious. But yeah, maybe a little protein with those Cheetos and... Again, go back to what I started this whole thing with. This is why I'm a fan of add, don't take away. It's not don't eat this, don't do that. It's what can I add to my days to help me be more nourished, to help my energy levels feel more balanced and sustained, and for me to just feel more alive and to thrive with, again, my body being able to meet the demands that I'm placing on it or that I wish to place on it. I often hear people say, I'm just not motivated, or I can't stay consistent, or I don't have the energy. And 9 times out of 10, it's just that they're not adequately fueling their body for the demands they're either placing on it or that they wish to place on it. All right. Any other questions before we wrap it up about thriving over 40, nutrition tips for thriving over 40? I used to fast for a very long time. Christy, I'll share before I wrap it up. I fasted for many years, didn't eat till 1, 2 o'clock in the morning or afternoon. Excuse me. I'd fast all morning. I'd work out so hard. And I have to say it worked for me for a long time until it didn't. And it was really post 40, early 40s where I started to notice this isn't working for me. And a lot of it is that our stress resiliency goes down as we age, and fasting and eating low carb, these can increase the stress our body is under. And if you're already feeling good and balanced, then maybe that's okay. But if your body's under a great deal of stress, or again, if your stress resiliency is low, eating in ways that cause your body to feel a sense of threat or a lack of safety, it's going to only further the impact on your body, and essentially you're adding an unnecessary stressor. And it took a long time for me to wrap my brain around adding breakfast back in and eating before I worked out. And I have to say, massive game changer. Like my life changed. My days feel better. My workouts feel better. I have better energy. I'm so much more able to focus. I feel much more balanced throughout the day. Moods are better. I noticed that my extreme cravings for chocolate that I just thought were who I was massively changed when I stopped fasting. So I understand that, and I know it can feel scary, but I always tell people start small. Maybe it's just a small little snack in the morning. I usually recommend folks eat 30 minutes to an hour upon waking and see how you feel and go from there. But I appreciate that question. I appreciate all of you. Thank you so much for being here. Again, if you could like the video on the main feed, leave a comment, share it with any folks that you think would enjoy it too. I'll see you next Wednesday. Again, if you have any questions about my upcoming Trust and Thrive Academy Thriving Beyond 40 special edition launch, we kick things off Tuesday, September 26th. Information on how to enroll can be found in the show notes below. If you are more of a self-guided folk, head over to Empowered Nourishment and you can dive right in. You get instant access. I appreciate all of you. Have a wonderful Wednesday. Enjoy the rest of your week. I hope you continue to feel well, and I'll see you next Wednesday. Thanks, everyone. Take care.